Cecil, I was just talking. Everybody's got a top five. I know you've at least got a top five, right? I mean, top five guys to replace Steve Sarkisian in Alabama. I mean, how do these guys get the top fives? But I like them. I mean, they're fun. I saw Derek Dooley's name pop up a couple of minutes ago on a top five. That's a big name.
Yeah, I'm not sure whose top five that would be, but maybe somebody in the accounting department in Tennessee is tired of paying.
There you go. But let me ask you, you're never shocked by things like this. You always have your finger on the pulse. Did this one get you off guard this morning, or did you sort of sense that this might be coming down the road?
Well, the timing certainly was surprising. The Falcons were playing a game 48 hours ago and just about to kick off, so they certainly moved quickly, which certainly indicates that they had done at least some interviews and some prep work prior to the Super Bowl. I think it had been circulating around for a week or so. I was actually almost in Atlanta because I'm headed to South Carolina for basketball tonight. So I could have just stopped off at the complex, seen how things were going with them. But so the timing of it did surprise me a little bit.
All right, let me there's a lot of people out there that are painting scenarios that maybe there was a disagreement that happened after the championship. I know you've probably read some of these reports out here. I mean, what do you think? I mean, do you think there was a disagreement between Nick Saban and Steve Sarkisian?
Well, I did read some of those, Ryan, and I certainly respect people, respect their sources, respect what they're saying, but I'm really not sure what the context for that would have been because, since the championship game, Alabama, certainly Nick Saban's been primarily involved in recruiting and not so much with offensive philosophy meetings. And I'm not going to say that those discussions hadn't taken place, but, I just don't know that there's been enough time to build up that kind of friction that, somebody would and again, the time frame we're not talking about is from the championship game to today. We're talking about from the championship game to Steve Sarkisian interviewing with Falcons, which certainly had to have been set up. I guess they could have done it yesterday, but had to have been set up before the Super Bowl. So an even shorter time frame, even less time since National Signing Day. So I don't know where all this friction would have built up in meetings. I think it's more likely, and certainly what has been indicated to me is that this opportunity came along, and that there are great things about this opportunity. It's a Super Bowl finalist that you're going to be the offensive coordinator for, and for a variety of reasons, that Steve thought that was best for him. So, I think it was probably more on one side than the other. With that said, he could have, over the course of recruiting as soon as recruiting was over, most of the Alabama staff went on vacation, including Nick Saban. So, when and where that could have occurred, I'm not sure where that would have happened in the timeline. And it makes more sense to me that this is just something that Steve Sarkisian's more comfortable with.
In an ideal situation, what do you think Alabama would like to be on the offensive side of the football? And I know you got to judge with the personnel that you have, but what do you think they would like to be on the offensive side of the football?
Well, I think they'd like to be pro-style and multiple. I don't know that they want to be one thing or another. I think that Nick Saban has showed over the Lane Kiffin years that he's adaptable. What the rules of football make the easiest way to score points is what he wants to do. But I think they still want to be physical. Look at the offensive line recruits that they're bringing in this year. They're not shying away from big physical control of the line of scrimmage guys. They're not shying away from bringing in. They've got, at this point, more backs who are capable of doing that than probably any team in college football. So, you do have to have a downfield passing component to that. They've got really good receivers and brought in a great crop of receivers, but they aren't, not necessarily run and shoot type receivers. I mean, there's Devontae Smith's a small receiver, but Shavers is a big target, and I think Henry Ruggs can play any style that you want to play. So Jerry Jeudy the same. So I don't think that they're limited offensively by that. But if you look at particularly the offensive linemen and the quarterback that they recruit, quarterbacks, including Mac Jones, I think that they still want to do what Nick Saban's traditionally wanted to do, which is be able to run the football first, be tough, be physical, and be a little bit more, be adaptable, but be more of a pro-style offense.
I've heard the talk, Mike Locksley, co-offensive coordinator,
right.
But Cecil, help me out. I know it's been reported out there, but I don't know if I can remember a press release, and I think when Nick Saban was asked about it at the Senior Bowl, he said, when we make all those assignments, we'll let you know. I mean, do we think that Mike Locksley is the co-offensive coordinator?
Oh, yeah, I think he's got that title.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't indicate whether he'll be the play caller or the quarterback coach. But, I think that for a variety of reasons, including the salary structure, I think that title is in place. But again, you bring in a co, and that could be your quarterback coach and your play caller, or you could do, you could do something different with that. But I don't think, as I tweeted today, Nick Saban has 2 vacancies and a pending third hire with a 10th assistant coach. So there's still a lot of movement on the chessboard in terms of how the position alignments are going to be. I think with Billy Napier leaving, I think Mike Locksley would be a candidate to coach wide receivers, but it's just on how Nick decides to configure that. And with certainly 2 and probably 3 in April, there are a lot of different routes he can go.
When you look, how important is this offensive coordinator to just be a specialist? I mean, I understand play calling, but you got to go through some quarterback development here. You got 3 guys, and all of them are young. You got a true sophomore and 2 freshmen. Mac Jones told us yesterday in the program he'll be arriving Monday and going through spring, which I know that's been reported for a week or so. But you got a lot of youth at that position. You do,
and Jalen does have a full year's experience that a lot of sophomore quarterbacks don't have. Essentially 15 games. He didn't start every single one of the 15, but basically that's what it amounts to. And yet he needs development. And then the 2 hadn't played college football at all will certainly need some development. So there's no question that somebody will be brought in as a quarterback coach. That was, I think that was going to be Steve Sarkisian. Now it's not. So Nick's going to go and find the best person that can handle that situation and still have some flexibility with what he wants to hire with another vacancy, ostensibly on the offensive side.
You hear this stuff, Chip Kelly. I mean, everybody's got Chip Kelly on their top 5. That's a lot of ego to check at the door. That's been a big-time coach at major college programs, the NFL.
Right.
Do you see that even working out? I mean, do you even see it feasible as a Chip Kelly would be?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's feasible. I think you've got – let me give you 2 positives and 2 negatives.
Okay.
The 2 positives is that he knows Nick Saban has a relationship, dropped by to visit during postseason preparation, and he's been very successful offensive football coach in college football, regardless of what happened in the NFL. We're not talking about the NFL. We're talking about what he's done in college. The 2 negatives would be, I don't know that what Oregon ran is precisely what Nick Saban wants to run. Now, if it scores 60 points a game, then sure, Nick Saban's going to want to run it. But I think he's still more comfortable having a physical running game as a component of what he does, and I think that's what their personnel lends itself to. And the other thing is, I think if you hire Chip Kelly, you have to do it with the understanding that he'll want to be a head coach again somewhere in 2018. And so you'll be going through this again a year from now. And I don't know if that would be a significant stumbling block or not, but it's certainly something you have to consider.
Cecil, how quick do you think this will go down? I mean, we're 30 days from today, an estimate, just judging the tendencies of Nick Saban. He loves that Friday before spring break, because he gets the last chance to yell and scream at the players before they go to spring break and have a good time. I mean, that's what he generally does. Counting that day, we've got 30 days until spring practice. How quick do you think this will go down? I mean, you think we'll know something 24, 48 hours, even stretching out?
I don't probably not 48 hours, Ryan, although it wouldn't shock me if one of the positions is filled at any point, because one of them's been open for a while. To say, will they both be filled? Will the coordinator be filled? I'd be more comfortable saying maybe by the end of the week than I would 48 hours. And it wouldn't shock me if it went into next week. After that, you do have to have some preparation for spring practice. You got to have vocabulary that the players are going to use. They need to be prepared for that. You want to have there's certain groundwork that you want to have done. The first day of spring practice isn't just, all right, here's the alphabet, here's ABC. And so you want to be on the same page with that. So I would think sooner rather than later, the 48 hours might be a little sooner than I'd expected.